Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Fuel Stop Chats. I'm Chris. That's James. With us tonight, this is kind of special for me because you can see the picture of my K1600 over here. That's the founder and originator of the K1600 enthusiast page, Mr. Andrew Davies, and his trusty sidekick and admin of the page, the bad cop. For those of you that are K1600 enthusiasts, this is what that guy looks like that says, no, you can't post your for sale crap on this page. You got to put it
I've
over
gotten that.
here.
I
Mr.
have
Kim Moon.
I have gotten
So
that message.
this has been fun for me because I was looking through today. I joined the page in 2016, and that was 2 years into my first GTL, and have been on the page long enough to wear that one out. And I'm on my second one, which is that white one back there in the picture. And we've spent countless hours on Facebook, messaging back and forth. Andrew said when we were talking earlier, this is the first time we've gotten to see each other live. I missed the first ride to meet, but I have already made my reservation for this year's ride to meet in August. So I'm pretty excited about that. We'll talk more about that. But anyway, really happy to have you guys join us tonight. James is also a 1600 enthusiast. So the four of
I
us are,
am.
we
I
can be
am.
bike snobs tonight, right? It's our show. We
And
can,
hey,
we,
I just
We all own 1600, so why not, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
and we have a new member of the group that just got signed into it. A good friend of mine, Ron Peavyhouse, who I was stationed with in Germany. We both went to Desert Storm together. He sent me a picture last week saying, "Dude, finally got it." And he's had a plethora of BMWs through the past, but he got a GTL Platinum and sent me a picture of it. So first thing as I did is I went into the enthusiast group and I shot him an invite. So Ron Peavyhouse is probably our newest member, and if he
Welcome.
listens to this, rock on, Peavy dude.
Yeah. So
Oh, well,
Kim
I
and
had
I,
a you guys saw the post from my buddy Dave. Flew out to California to pick up that GTLE, and rode it back to Michigan on Route 66.
Nice.
He actually flew out and picked up a used 2016,
perfect.
and the pearlescent white. So he came off a Honda. Him and his wife, they've toured with me for a few years. They've been riding a big Honda, and I kept telling him he couldn't keep up with me. I kept saying you need a 16.
Well, you got to be careful because I think there's a guy on the call that is maybe a Goldwing guy. I don't know. Used to be.
Yeah, no, I got one of those too,
But
but
yeah.
actually it's funny the way that I drive my K1600. I told Kim, hey, next time we go riding, I'll bring my Goldwing and you bring your K1600. Because I don't like to do anything less than 3 digits on the K1600. It's just made to go faster than that.
It's funny you say that because we actually have a video clip of you doing something crazy on a 1600 that's on the page. And I noticed that in memoriam, you posted the, hey, remember when this video clip hit the page?
Yeah.
And it was funny because James and I rode down the Natchez Trace, and there are some places on that road that just beg you to crank it.
Yeah. It's,
But I guess the difference, Andrew, is when I'm doing that, I'm kind of paying attention to what's in front of me, and not looking to see whether Kim's video camera's blinking or whatever.
I never should have beat my horn. That was the problem.
I took my eyes off the road for literally a second. I looked down at the tack. I looked at the mirror for a second. I have no idea why I did that. It was just some weird reaction. And in that 2.5, maybe 1.5 seconds, when I looked back up, my tire was crossing the white line and I was busy pissing my pants. And then I was just, it was like riding a Bronco. And luckily, very luckily, I'd ridden dirt bikes when I was a kid. And so, you just keep the tail soft and don't piss the bike off.
Yeah, don't hit the brakes.
Try to get her back up. Try to look at the road as soon as you can.
Don't hammer the brakes.
Yeah, just don't hit the brakes.
I've been driving for 30 years, and believe me, you put up a video like that, you get a lot of advice, and everybody's has an opinion, and I totally get it. But it happens to everybody. There's that moment of inattention. There's that moment that the one thing I would tell you that I learned from that incident is there is no such thing as lay your bike down. You are so much better off riding that bike through whatever the heck is going on, because you got brakes, you got ABS, you got German engineers, and you got inertia. So believe me, I'll be honest with you. For a moment, I had thought about putting the bike down. The thought crossed through my mind. And then another part of my brain, excuse my French, said, F you, we're riding this out, baby. We're going to make it. And I'm telling you, I can completely understand and forgive people, and understand it. But I would never advise anyone to get off of a bike in a situation like that. The bike will save your life, especially a BMW. I don't know about other brands, but that bike saved my life. And, of course, I'm a religious guy, as you can see. So I also believe there was some divine intervention there, because I'm going to tell you, sure as hell wasn't me.
Yeah, that song. I got to thinking about that song, and they need to come out with. Is it Carrie Underwood that has that song? Jesus, take the wheel.
Hey, I don't want to interrupt, guys. Are you getting any noise? I'm getting a lot of noise in the background. I've turned off my mic, and I'm still getting. I'm hearing a real bad a bunch of static in the background.
That might be me. Keep
It
going.
could be age.
Well, no, I mean it's like really, it's hard to hear you guys talk.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can.
audio's great
it
here.
may ruin the whole video here if we can't get that off.
We
Yeah,
can
I
hear
can't.
you clear as a bell.
Here,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
going to
no,
mute my mic. Let's see if it's me. I'll mute my mic.
No.
Okay, not me.
James, you have the gain cranked up on your mic too high.
Okay, talk.
James,
No,
do you have
I don't think so. Can you guys hear me? Right?
There we go.
Mute.
Yeah, I'm still getting it on my end, so I don't know.
I don't hear
What's
it here.
the noise? Is it the road noise from your video playing on the screen behind you?
Oh, you know what? It might be. It was. Never mind. It was my fault.
Oh, God bless you.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
I'm hearing it through my own speaker.
Are you guys recording that?
Kim, hold on just a second. Let me call.
All recorded.
Yes, 911. Yeah. Yeah. Could I get somebody to go to Kim Moon's house? He's having some technical difficulties.
Did you have that drink yet?
I do
Kim,
IT
you're
for
not
a
driving
living.
tonight.
I'll tell you what's funny about that.
How many of those Crowns and Cokes have you had?
That's the
Kim?
funny part. That's what I was laughing about. The whole time he's complaining, he's going, I'm hearing some weird noises on my end. I don't know. Hold on a second.
Yeah, Chris is holding a drink to his mouth.
I don't know what's going on back there, but I'm hearing some really strange noises on my.
I had no idea. But
it might be. It could be on my end.
Yeah, refill that cup.
it wasn't my end. See, I've narrowed it down at least.
I saw it. Dude, are you kidding me? I heard the road noise of the film in the background.
I didn't know there was a movie, but I thought it was all just photos. I didn't realize there was a.
Guys, with all the joshing and kidding aside, I want to tell you, because I've been with Kim for a long time. He works so darn hard, even though he messed up a little bit with the audio. He really wants to show off, all the hard work. And when we're on a trip with Kim, Kim's running the camera all the time. That's why we caught that stuff, is because Kim was running the camera. So I just want to take a shout out and tell you I love you, brother. And I laugh with you, but I love you. And I know you just want to show off your hard work.
So for those that are listening to the podcast, if you go to the YouTube channel, we've got the four of us talking to each other. But Kim's got a monitor going in the background with a bunch of pictures from various trips that him and Andrew have taken. So it's pretty interesting to see. And yeah, that whole noise thing was in the video. He had a video picture going that had road noise, and he kept looking at his microphone, wondering where that noise was coming from. It was right next to his head the whole time.
Well, I just can't see it. See, so I'm not looking at.
I got your back, brother. I got your back.
All right, man. I'm glad you figured it out. We're good. We're good.
Now, yeah, I put a shout out earlier to my buddy Ron that me and him were both stationed in Germany. I got a rumor that the two of you guys were stationed in Germany, maybe not at the same time.
Well, not at the same time for sure. I was stationed in Germany from 77 through 81. I was
just missed you, bro.
22 or 23, I think. And that's where I got the love for BMW bikes. I mean, I was over there literally. I got there in 78. I got there in December of 77. So that would be literally 78 through 81. And that's why I have a 78 R80/7, because when I saw this 78 come up, this Airhead, it reminded me of the bikes I saw in Germany. The first time I ever saw BMW motorcycles was stationed in Germany. And Paul and I were using those at the time, So that's why I have one of those, and I was really fortunate to find it. And it's a throwback to those days.
So
that's all I've ever ridden is BMWs. I've never ridden anything else, but I've never owned anything else but a BMW. Yeah, I bought an '83 R65 when I first came back from Germany, new, and I had that for about 3-4 years, and then life happens, and I had to sell it, and I didn't have another bike until 2016. I'm just sitting here one day, just like I've been in bicycles for years, riding bicycles and touring with bicycles, and I looked up and I saw I saw a Craigslist ad for an R1200 RT used, and I was like, well, why don't I own a motorcycle? Let me think about this for a second. I can afford it. I don't have anybody to tell me I can't buy one. Why don't I buy one? So I literally went and found this. I bought it. I brought it home on a trailer, and then I went and got my endorsement. I hadn't ridden for like 30 years between that time.
Wow.
I had my R65 and my R1200 RT. And then I made the mistake about a year and a half later of going to the BMW dealer to buy a rear bag for the tail. And I saw that my K1600 had just gotten traded in, and I took it for a ride and ended up buying the tail bag and the 1600.
Kiss of death. So for anybody that's listening to this podcast and thinking about getting a K1600 GT or GTL, I will pass some words of wisdom that were passed to me from Chris Black. Don't test ride it unless you have the money, because once you test drive it, you will not want any other bike. You'll want other bikes, but you will be obsessed to have that bike. And
James,
it's the truth.
Yeah,
I'll tell
James
you,
and I
I
were on
used to own an, I'm sorry, Chris. I used to own an FJR 1300, which is
Great
another
bike.
legendary bike,
Yeah,
beautiful
great
bike. And the K1600 took me off the FJR 1300. Need I say more?
Yeah, we got a buddy of our Holtz that did the same thing. He went from the FGR to the 16.
Same exact thing. We were on a ride. We do a lot of flying rides and flying rentals. And I was in the market for a touring bike. So every time we go out, I'd take a different touring bike and I'd spend 3-4 days on it. It's like, really, if I'm going to plunk down this kind of change, I want to make sure I'm going to like it. Right. We were in Joshua Tree.
Mm-hmm.
And we were videotaping us passing each other and, whatever. And first guy, second guy, James would wave you by and you get your little camera shot, that you could save for later. And it came my turn and we popped up over this little hill and there was like, the road just went to a vanishing point. And I don't know, it just urged me on, man. It was like, gone. You should really try this bike. Gone. I got back. I told James, I was like, I found my touring bike.
Yeah,
and literally,
I always tell
you put the upgrade in it. If you put any of those chip upgrades, and I haven't done that to my new engine yet because I just got it.
Yeah,
I just got that new engine. But man, those chip upgrades really pump it up. I would not go to the top again, but that mid-range one that I can't remember the name of it. But the mid-range one program that they have is really fantastic. I mean, you put that thing in sports mode. I have a 1400, a Kawasaki ZX 1400R.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you, that BMW with the chip upgraded is real close. It's not the crazy 1400 torque, but it's really about 90% of it. Honestly, it's insanity.
Yeah, and one of the things I tell people, and sorry, this is just turning into a big commercial for the K1600, is Chris and I have talked about this before. It's if you're looking for a tour bike, it might not be the best tour bike, but it's definitely number 2. If you're looking for a sport bike, it's not the best sport bike, but it's up there. If you're looking for a cross country, I'm going to ride the 1,000+ miles a day, it might not be the best, but it's way up there. So when you look at the quarter mile times of the double R, the BMW's double R, this is what they use. Hickey runs this and the TT. This is a very fast bike. Off the shelf, vicious fast. If you look at the quarter mile speeds of the RR 1000, the 1000 double R and the GT or the GTL, it's not even a second slower in the quarter mile.
Sure. And I've got the 2013, which is a GT, which is my understanding. That's what the Brentune is based off of.
That's the Brentune, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Their mapping is based off that. That's why I don't want to get rid of it.
2013 is the one to use.
Yeah.
I used the higher one, and you know, although it was no fault of the modification, the engine unfortunately failed.
There'll be a little disclaimer that comes up on the bottom of the screen.
I was very happy that the insurance company replaced the engine because it had nothing to do with any aftermarket parts. However,
was it very,
they've already
very
paid for the engine a
reminiscent
year ago.
of 10 minutes ago? What's that noise?
Yeah.
But my
guys hear
point
something?
no, and truly, it did not have anything to do with it. I turned it in exactly as it was, and they paid for the engine. And I should remember the warranty company because I think I was the first person in history to actually get a new engine. Yeah, I got a brand new engine, crate engine for the bike. In any case, yeah, it took me 6 months to get it. But what I want to say is that I own both the Goldwing, the new Goldwing. I sold my old Goldwing, and I've owned that. That's a little stodgy, the older ones, the 214 and lower. Nice bikes, great bikes if you're into that, but not going to go faster than 90 miles an hour without a wiggle. Okay. I own the 2020 Goldwing, the fully up model, and super bike, ABS model, or rather, I'm sorry, the airbag model. And I would tell
Does that have the
people
DCT in it?
DCT and everything. And the DCT is really cool until you try to do a U-turn. Then it's like you're a 4-year-old on a tricycle. Because you can't gun it. You're like, you really got to get good at getting enough goose to get around that corner, or you're looking like a moron putting down your foot or whatever. Don't bring a girlfriend. Anyway, what I would tell you is the Goldwing is really, the new Goldwing is really awesome for short jaunts. So I live in Florida. I can head across the coast in an hour, right? And be in Marco Island. I take my girlfriend on that in the Goldwing. She's loving it. But man, for a single rider, there is nothing like the 1600.
Yep.
If you're going to tour and you're a single rider, yeah, forget it. Buy this K1600 because the new Goldwing is awesome, but it's not gonna take care of you. And then, you know, also get some customizations, get a new seat, stuff like that. That helps a lot with the touring time.
Yeah, I had my seat reshaped. Found a local upholstery shop, described the problem I was having. The guy said, tell you what, he says, you pull the cover off, save me a little time, bring it up here, I'll reshape it. And then he come up here and he set it on a horse and had me sit on it. He said, what do you think? I said, well, I mean, for a 5 minute, yeah, okay. You know, we'll see what it does in a couple thousand miles. And I said, what do I owe you? He said, $75, okay? I was like, sure. I put 84,000 miles on that bike, man. It was the best $75 investment ever. Right. Wow. So this new bike, the new bike, same guy, same mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ride with an Airhawk. I have an Airhawk, and because I got the GT, it's got the split seat, so I have a backup.
How tall are you, Kim? How tall are you?
5'9".
Yeah,
5'9". I'm a short guy.
Yeah, me too.
But I've also got the backup backrest, and I really like that because I can get on my highway pegs, on my bars, and lean back on that. And I also put the risers. I've got the handlebar risers for my GT as well, and you know it's everything that a GTL would be. I just don't have the big trunk in the back. But yeah, I tell all my friends, I just dropped
added the risers to my GT, and Kim's absolutely correct. He's been telling me for 3 years to do it. I finally did it.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Put them risers on there, and it's amazing how much more comfortable the GT
and
is.
It's just a subtle thing, but just being able to relax your arms a little bit and keep it more upright, it's amazing.
Yeah. It lets you get back on it and get more upright instead of being.
I'm so bitter that I forgot to take them off the bike when I traded it in. Now I got to go buy some new ones and go through that whole process again. But now that I've done it once,
they're not cheap.
Yeah, so this is the GT right here, but this is a 2012, so I don't have the split seat, so I'm unable to put the backrest in. So
well, you must have a GTL seat then, because the GTs always were a two-piece seat. I actually bought a GTL seat when I first bought my GT, and I sold it and rebought. I had to go back on eBay and find GT seats to buy because I wanted to have that split so I could use the backrest. So you must have a GTL seat.
Or James, you can just I found an aftermarket RDL seat. I bought it actually on the K1600 Enthusiast Classifieds page, which is the correct place to post things for sale.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. But the classifieds page is where you can find all kinds of goods and services, and nobody makes any money.
You can.
Yeah, at this point, I find when I'm doing distance riding, it's usually to go camping. So I've got a dry bag back there that is pressed all the way up against my back, and
Yep.
I wear a airbag vest as well, so it's pressed all the way into there, and I'm sitting back at that point.
Yeah, I just
I'd
started
love to
wearing
hear
an
about
airbag vest
airbag
myself.
vests, James. Sorry, Kim. James, I'd love to hear about your experience with airbag vests, and I know Kim has one as well.
I love it.
I don't own one, and I'm not sure if they're really worthwhile. You know,
I won't ride
I'm
without
curious
it.
to hear.
Won't
Yeah, well,
ride
the
without
reason
it. I
I
have
got
one.
mine.
Go ahead, Kim.
I was gonna say the reason I got mine was my best friend Jeff was in an accident that Andrew knows him real well. He's on several of these photos that have been
Yeah.
back here. He's the guy with the Indian. He hit a pothole on the highway at about 60, 70 miles an hour. Threw him. He high sided right over top of the
Ugh.
windshield, and he was in the ICU for about 3 months. And a lot of his injuries would have been avoided. And he even knows it because he actually now he wears an airbag vest when he rides. Would have been avoided had he had the airbag vest, especially in his neck and his lower back. So I bought one immediately after he went in the hospital, and but I kind of cheat. I don't use it when I'm doing local stuff on my old Airhead, but when I get on the highway flying on my 1600, I wear it all the time because that's when I really feel like I need it because I'm doing 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, long stretches of time, and you don't know what you're going to run into on the. I mean, I've run over pieces of steel on the highway and bent my rim, So
Speaking
I
of
can
rims, did you get them things on your bike yet?
this weekend, I swear to God, this weekend, Bob's BMW finally sent me all the shit I need.
It's like the never-ending saga. You know what? I could have drove down to Bob's and grabbed those parts and mailed them to you.
Well, he had to order them.
No,
That's
I
the
know.
problem was he sells them on the website, but he had to order them from I guess whatever distributor BMW uses to get
Well,
the stuff.
I want to mention one thing about finance. I should tell you, just be prepared for supply problems
All
globally.
around.
Yeah, all around.
Everything.
There's really going to be some serious inflation, and so what I mean by that is, there's something you want to do, you better do it now.
Especially any more
If you wanna
tankers
buy a
stuck in
bike,
the
buy it
Suez
now.
Canal,
So-
So anyway, so moving on from that, I just want to talk about the page for a second.
Yeah.
What happened was when I originally got my 1600, like I said, I bought my 1200 first. I bought my 1600, and I was just like on Facebook one night, and I was doing a little searching for 1600 pages, and I ran across the one that Andrew had started. And at the time, I think there was like 220 members. And so I just started posting stuff, and then Andrew, because Andrew at the time was still active on the board a lot more than he is today, and we became friends by chatting on the Facebook group page. That's how we became actual friends. I mean, I've been down to Florida. Him and I rode to Key West together, and we went to Indiana, and we went to Nashville. We rode to Memphis, and we rode to St. Louis. Did a big tour like that. That was the first one of the 1600 rides that we did. So we're actually friends, even though we live in different states. But that's how we got started together. And then I guess about a year later or so, he was asking me if I wanted to be the admin of the page because he had knew who I was, and that's how I became the admin of the page. It wasn't like I started anything. It's just him and I became friends from chatting on that group page. And since then, I've met. When I was at I went to Lebanon to the MOA rally a couple years ago, and I met a dozen people that are on the group page that went to the rally, and we had a big ride together. Tony Trauma is one. I don't know if you guys ever see Tony Trauma. He posts a lot on the page as well. But we became friends as well, and hopefully a lot of you guys are going to show up. I hope at Teleco Plains this August.
I'm going to be there.
I'll be there.
I was one of the original
if I can
guys
make
on
it.
that. I was one of the original guys on the 1600 page. And I remember when Andrew said, I'm like super busy. He was at Wharton. He was getting loaded up with busy stuff. And he's like, I need some help admin page. And I think I might've went dark on him for a while. I was like, I saw Kim raise his hand. I'm like, thank God, man. Because it's
I
like,
was so grateful as well. I was like, I really can't handle this.
it's a lot, man. People, I have the ride history page and I have the ride history website. And then we have this podcast, and then I have a job and some other duties as just, what is it they always say? Other duties as assigned.
Yeah.
Tammy. But it's a lot. And I think that I will say that the page, again, this is going to sound kind of, but I haven't had anybody on the 1600 page that was a complete tool bag yet. We haven't. I don't know.
Have you met Ken Moon?
I think
Have you
it's
not
all
met
of us.
him?
I think it's all the superior intellect. You know, the guys that choose the 1600 are maybe just a little smarter than your average bear.
We've got some good moderators too. We've I think
Chris
we have
doesn't mean that.
8 or 10 moderators that have come along over the last few years. And I mean, when you look at new members, we get a lot of new members that they don't post any photos of motorcycles. They don't answer the questions. And so we almost got to scour their Facebook page, depending on how open it is, to see, you know, do you even have a motorcycle? You know, if you don't have a motorcycle, I delete you. You know, and then you get these guys that new member, and the first thing they do is post a, "Hey, you want to buy this shirt?" You know, and I'm like, done. You know, so
The
I mean,
classic line. The classic line on the Facebook page the other day was, "For God's sakes, if you're going to do that, at least put good T-shirts up there." That was one of the best lines. I had the chance to meet somebody off of the page. I had a windshield that I had replaced with one of the 7. Well, I had the C. Bailey first. They quit making them. Sad moment, big tear.
Yeah.
Love their windshield. And then I went to the 7 Jurock, which I like
as well. Yeah.
Right. And so Leon Hansen out in Kansas, we exchanged some comments. We had some dialogue on the 1600 page. He's posted that he needed a windshield. I said, "Hey, I got this stock one that I've been storing." I did a trip across country a couple of years ago, way back. Remember way back in the old days when we could just go anywhere we want and didn't have to wear masks? 2 years ago.
I don't know. Andrew and I live in Florida. It's the Wild West down here.
Well, anyway, Leon saw that I was
a mask. Okay.
He saw the post.
Other Floridians do not.
Leon saw the post though, and got to spend a night with him and his wife, and make a connection with somebody that we kind of developed a friendship with the Facebook. You know, so there's been a lot of cool stuff. Doug Drobish, if you're listening, one of these days you need to listen to our podcast. But I'm originally from St. Louis, born and raised, a diehard Cardinal baseball fan. And Doug's from that neck of the woods. And he passed me. And we didn't even realize it until we were looking at our Facebook post that night. He was going west. I was returning. I was coming east. And he goes, "Do you remember waving at that guy on 40? And I was like, "Absolutely." And he goes, "Yeah, that was me." I said, "Oh, that was me." And but, you know, there's a lot of those guys I hope to be able to connect with when we go down to Tellico Plains. And I still need to call, can't remember her name, but I have it in my notes to see about the cabin, because I don't want to rent the whole cabin unless
Daphne's her name. Yeah. That's the new owner. They had a previous owner, and I just talked to her the other day. I spent about 20-30 minutes on the phone with her, and they've got 2 new cabins. One's a 4-person, one's a 6-person that they're either, I don't know if they're buying them and they're having them delivered. I'm pretty sure that's how that's working. So, you know, I mean, but at $85 a night, hell, if you only get 2 people, if you get yourself and somebody else, that's $40 a night to rent that thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt.
I mean, it's cheap, you know. I mean,
so I'm going to call her and see about squaring that away. For you guys that are listening and maybe not in tune with the K1600 enthusiast page, we're having a ride to meet and we're going to do it in Tellico Plains. And Kim's organizing this. And if you're listening, he's looking for help in the local area to help with maybe a band one night.
Site coordinator. Yeah,
maybe somebody's got a barbecue smoker food truck that they'd like to pull in there and feed a bunch of motorcycle guys. But it looks like it's going to be a good event. I'm really looking forward to it. In fact, Kim, I'm going to have to do a little bit of wheeling and dealing because my anniversary is the 20th. And so I just reminded my wife about you know, honey, we talked about this. It was the weekend of the anniversary and you said we didn't have anything going on. And she's like, "I don't remember talking about this." And I was like, don't you remember we said,
luck with that, Chris?
It was like 2:00 in the morning. You were snoring, but I was talking and I told you all about it. Remember that?
Chris, two words for you: diamond ring. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. That'll take care of that.
Yeah. She, well, she just got a new vehicle. So I'm actually looking to add a 4th bike. I want to get an ADV bike. So I figure I'll put a little money in the bank and get her a car. And wait, what?
We got 1 minute left.
Hey, do we want to send another note out?
Yeah, we can expand this out
and keep chatting.
Yeah. So
I still haven't gotten to the Mole Runner commonality that Kim and I have. You know, I followed him to Germany
from Site R,
and then can't say that.
Can't say that.
You can't. Have you? Yeah, we'll save that until we get back.
So stay tuned. right after this commercial break.
And we're going to
We're
talk
gonna
about
send-
something that doesn't exist.
You guys are going to get an email with a Zoom link like right now. So just
Sure.
click back in.
Yep.
And for YouTubers, we're going to put up a little ad for Ride History here.
Hey, Kim, I'm going to text you my email address. So just forward it to me, would you?
Okay.
Unless you guys have it.
Well, you want to just put it out here and then everybody will have it in the world?
Yeah, how do you do it in the chat? Yeah,
Hey, Andrew,
And your credit card number too.
Yeah,
while
and your
you're at
credit
it.
card number too.
I'll put it
All
on
right,
IM.
we'll be
for
right
you.
back.
Be right back, folks.
Learning history is something taught in school. Experiencing history is a right seldom exercised. Either experiencing the American Civil War by walking its battlefields and touching the soil where blood was shed, or experiencing musical history from the studios where the lyrical touchstone was created and recorded, the textile of history should be experienced firsthand. Participants in this journey should be riding a motorcycle from historical location to historical location so that the environment can wash through them in the open air. Ride History provides an intimate, educated, and personal experience guiding its riders through history on the freedom of two wheels. Check out www.ridehistory.com for available tours of the Gettysburg Battlefield or ride through America's entry into the Industrial Revolution on the Oilfield Tour. The Knox Tour from Fort Ticonderoga to Boston, or the 8-day Rhythm Tour starting in Atlanta and hitting Nashville, Memphis, Muscle Shoals, Jackson, and New Orleans. Ride through American history at ridehistory.com. Back, everybody. So you didn't miss anything. I think Kim topped off another drink, so we'll see if we get some more background noise going for him to keep him confused and bewildered during the rest of the podcast.
Confused, please. Yeah.
So Kim, you talked about you're not in Florida like Andrew and myself. Where are you residing?
I'm in Michigan.
Nice.
It's the opposite of Florida.
Where in Michigan?
A place called Flint.
Yes.
That's where my relatives live.
Like literally in the center of the state for the most part.
Yeah, just don't drink the water there. We all know about Flint.
Oh, that explains a lot about the strange noises he was hearing.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
yeah,
I have
actually
Detroit
my
water.
wife is
I
from
actually
Michigan.
live in a place called Grand Blanc, but everybody knows Flint. Nobody knows Grand Blanc. So we have Detroit water, so we're good.
Yeah, my wife is from Michigan. We have a lot of family up in Michigan from the Traverse City area. My grandfather.
Just there a couple days ago.
Beautiful country up there.
Yeah, it is. That's a nice place. Yeah.
So within Michigan, I know that we got tunnel of trees. You know, everybody knows 22. What are your favorite places? Is it, staying at the bottom part of the mitten or going up to the thumb?
It's funny you bring that up because one of the things I like to do is I have a lot of events that I run every year. I have a hobby motorcycle touring company for right now that I started right after I got my 1200 because I've always been in bicycling and bicycling touring. Like seriously, I've ridden across the state on my bicycle 7 times. 3 of those with my grandson. So
that's awesome.
So I like group riding. I've always had Facebook groups for bicycle riding. One of our groups we have our own jerseys we had made and whatnot. So when I started motorcycling, I wanted to kind of do the same thing. So I got on we have a page in Michigan called We Ride Michigan. They've got 24,000 members, and so I create an event like, hey, let's go from hell to paradise, because in Michigan you can go from hell to paradise in one day. And I have like 12 people show up, and we'd go up to paradise, spend the night, and come back. And so then I said, well, hey, let's ride around the state on. Oh, there we go again. I caught it this time.
The noise. There's some noise going on.
Noise. Yeah.
Oh, there's Dave. That's the guy that just bought the K1600. That's him and his wife Cindy.
Goddamn, Kim. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Hold on. Jesus God, you guys, give me a break. All right. So then I created an event called the Independence Day Ride, where we leave from Bay City, we go over to Lake Michigan, ride all the way around the coastline back to Bay City in time for the next day for the fireworks, because Bay City's got like the best fireworks in the state.
Is that on the 4th of July?
Traverse City might disagree with you on that one.
That's a 4th of July.
They might,
right?
but it doesn't really matter because they're wrong. Bay City's got the nicest fireworks in the state. So anyway, yeah, sorry, it's just the way it is. So but they got the Cherry Festival in Traverse City, which is very
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the reason to go there. So I like that. I like the Mission Point area where you go up the peninsula.
Yeah.
Mission Point Lighthouse. That's a nice ride. Done that on a bicycle twice. Um, so yeah, so basically in the Lower Peninsula, there's not a lot unless you either do the Thumb,
Mhm.
which in the fall we have there's a little town called Caseville, and for whatever reason, 10, 15 years ago, they started this cheeseburger contest there, and they call it Cheeseburger in Caseville, right?
All right,
So
you
that
have me intrigued on this one now.
what's that?
You have me intrigued on this. So
Okay,
I lot you got me in
they have like all
cheeseburger.
these vendors go up there,
Cheeseburger?
and for a
Whoa.
week they have a cheeseburger contest. Who has the best cheeseburger? And it draws tens of thousands of people from the state to this stupid little thing called Cheeseburger in Caseville. Well, that happens to be in the Thumb. You know, when people show Michigan, this is Michigan, right? So it's in the Thumb area. So you ride around the Thumb, which is like a 300-mile ride around this way, and we'll do that for a day. Plus stop it. I don't know what the hell that made.
Every person from Michigan. It's like if you ever meet somebody from St. Louis, the first question out of their mouth is what high school did you go to? And anybody from Michigan, they just hold their hand up. Well, it's a mitten with a thumb.
Well, you know, this is Ohio.
I thought it was the middle finger, but
Oh my God.
So anyway, so we have that. We have the cheeseburger.
Bartender.
So we do
Another one,
we
please.
do the Thumb ride, okay, which takes you around Lake Huron, but God darn it, you
Say,
know who that is? You
hey.
know who that was right there? That was actually Andrew. That was Andrew.
Hey, we're gonna have to teach you how to do a silence screensaver.
No, it's the only. The problem is it's
Okay,
it's
here's
the
the
only video
rule.
I've got in this
No,
pile,
we're
and I
gonna make
can't delete the damn thing.
You know how you have drinking games, like when everybody says a word, you have to drink. Okay, we're gonna have a talking game. Every time your screensaver gets to that thing where it starts making noise, it's your turn to stop, and we're gonna pass the talking stick to Andrew.
But the best thing about this is during our little commercial break, Kim had said, "Yeah, so from a podcast point of view, how's this going?" And I said, "It's going great." And then the squirrels just showed up in his place, and he's just totally sidetracked and
Yeah, I was
derailed.
asking him to watch a couple other episodes,
Come
give us some
on.
I
feedback.
have to be honest. I actually pitched him. You know, so for those of you who don't know, I'm an entrepreneur. You know,
Oh, you went to Wharton, so I'm sure you are.
Yeah, I have two degrees from Wharton, and thank you, sir, and thank you, Wharton. And I've been very blessed. But so, you know, I like to start businesses and launch them. And actually, Kim and I have been having very serious discussions about launching a tour company, starting here in Florida and then building a format franchise and expanding it. Because I think that, you know, if you've got good riders and safe roads and licensed people, we can get a lot more people exposed to the joys of bike touring. And so, you know, I always like to start local, and Kim and I had discussed that. And I'm going to tell you, part of Kim, you know, love him as you will, because he's both a great rider, he's a great guy to ride with, and he's a great storyteller. And all of these factors, you know, combined to, you know, I literally was making him a soft offer today about, hey, let's start a business down here in Florida and start taking tours of people on bikes, you know, to see the beautiful state and see what we can see. So, you know, I just love his personality, and he's just a fantastic human being. So, you know, I know
I'm blushing.
I got the talking stick for a minute, but while I'm doing it, I just want to express my love and complete admiration for Kim Moon and for how he brings groups of people together, especially to around motorcycles and having fun and doing so safely. So,
Well, thank you, pal. I appreciate that, and I ditto, as they would say.
have you seen the video? I'm not the safe guy.
I love you, man.
Listen,
We're gonna
let's
drink.
just
I
do
love
something
you,
clear. If
man.
we start the tour company, nobody gets to follow me but Chris. Chris and James. That's it. Because y'all
Now,
gonna
I mean, a lot of our podcasts turn into commercials for Ride History, but it is a podcast that supports Ride History, which is Chris's company. Have you guys looked into that or know anything about it? Because
No, I
he
sure
actually has started his own touring company. And I do some work with him, and we base the touring around American history. So Chris is working on his Gettysburg battlefield certification to be an actual certified tour guide at Gettysburg. But he'll take people on a 3-day, 2-night tour around Gettysburg, but stop and talk about the history of not just, well, this unit fought this unit here, but Private Simmons came from this place and he did this, and the reason why he did this is because of that, and then he went back home and turned into this, or the bust of this person, the commander of this unit, his unit is immortalized inside this mausoleum, but except for him, because he embezzled all the money as they were building the mausoleum. So a lot of history like that. Yeah. And then we also have like a music tour where we go from we start out in Atlanta, go through the Appalachians up into Nashville.
What's that? Do you have like a port in Virginia as well? Is there like a port where cruise ships leave from in Virginia?
Oh.
I mean, yes, there is a cruise ship.
Well, there's a massive port there for Norfolk.
Norfolk, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure they're cruise ships.
They all wear the same kind of clothes when those ships leave too. It's really uncanny.
They do have crews.
In the Navy.
They don't look real happy.
I don't think they call them cruise ships.
It's just 3,000 customers a week. That's all the reason why I care.
Yeah.
In any case, Christopher, if there's anything I could ever do to help you, please let me know. I'm a huge supporter, and rather than doing it myself, I'd just rather see somebody doing it.
Well, check out ridehistory.com and give me feedback.
I will.
Yeah. See that, well, it's funny that we're all talking about this, because like I was trying to say earlier when I was showing all the special effects was so I've worked it into where every year I've got 4 main events that I do, and one of my rides last year, it was just a day ride to ride from our local place to a place called Hell, Michigan, and we stopped at an apple orchard, because it was like the last week in October. We were going down to see the colors in Hell. I had 100 bikes.
Holy smokes!
I led 100 motorcycles down to this apple orchard to get us apple cider and donuts, and then took them all down to Hell, Michigan to see the colors. So I've been doing this quite a while, and I've had some huge groups. Usually I get 40, 50 people for my events, except for the overnight ones. The overnight ones I get between 10 and 12. And I'm leading them all around the state, and we're stopping at all the different, sightseeing places that you'd want to see in Michigan, like the dunes and stuff like that.
Sure.
Traverse City. So I'm kind of been doing this myself. I just started it just for the heck of it. I don't make any money at it, but that's what I've been doing all this time. So I'm more than motivated. I retire next year, so I'm more than motivated to get into something like that with somebody. I don't mind riding all day long and leading a group of people. I mean, if you can lead 100 motorcycles and everybody is safe and sound, and they're following direction. I have safety meetings before we start. I explain how the ride's going to go and how we're going to stagger and whatever. And they've been very successful. So I'm proud that I've been able to accomplish that, and at the same time have a very good safety record. Except for Jeff got a flat tire twice on 2 of our different tours. And yeah.
So I'm going to shoot you some information. We have some relatives in Empire, Michigan, which is right outside. Yeah, right over by the dunes.
That's where Jeff got his flat tire. He got his flat tire in Empire. We had to call a wrecker from Traverse. Check this out. We called a wrecker from Traverse City. It's like 4 PM on July the 3rd. It's like Saturday at
that's impossible.
4 PM, right? We get the wrecker. We get the Traverse. They haul him back to Traverse City at a Harley dealer. We're there for like 3 hours while they're replacing this back tire on his end, right? Charged him $650 to replace a back tire.
Holy
cow. Yeah, because it was July 3rd. It's 6 PM. Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of Empire, it was really. I'm sure a photo will come up here at some point that'll show him getting loaded onto the back of a tow truck.
Wow.
So, anyway, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No. So they host a lot of events, but one of the cool ones I think that a lot of riders would enjoy was they do a hill climb. So they have a bunch of rally cars come out race cars. I don't think they're doing motorcycles, but still, as a motor enthusiast, it's a pretty cool event. I have yet to make it out there myself, but my uncle-in-law, I guess you would call him that, he is the person that puts it all together for Empire. So I'll shoot you his information for the
Well,
Empire Hill Climb.
When we do our 4th of July tour up M22, we stop at Pier Stocking. We actually go up to Pier Stocking and we do a ride around Pier Stocking up there and see the dunes.
Yeah.
And then stop by Sleeping Bear Dunes on the way out to so we try to hit all that interior stuff on the way up there. So it's so I know that area real well.
If the listeners have never ridden out there, hit Sleeping Bear Dunes, make your way up 22, stop over at I can't think of the name of the place where they have all the Polish food that's right at the top of the 22.
Oh, the Legs Inn.
Yep. Go there and then
Village.
Yep, and then make your
that's through the tunnel of trees at the end top of the tunnel of trees, yeah.
And then make your way over to Mackinac Island.
Cross the Mackinac Bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, cool.
Chris, you had some questions, I believe. You're awfully quiet this episode, and I'm going to throw this back at you like you did to me last week.
I'm just
you put those words together, buddy.
I'm just mesmerized watching Kim's screensaver go by. It's really captured my attention. So Kim and I we chased each other around the world. He was he left in 81. I got to Germany in 82. He was a mole runner right after he left there. I was a mole runner.
Well, when were you there in Fort Ritchie? When were you there?
I was there from 86 to 88 when I got out.
Oh, see, I left in 77 is when I went over to.
Oh, you were there before you went to Germany?
Yeah. I was I went to Korea. I did a year in Korea, then came back and did 3 years in the tunnel, and then I went to Germany right after that. So
Chris still lives up there.
I live in Waynesboro.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was wondering, is that Waynesboro, Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir.
Well, do you remember the Anthony Wayne Hotel?
Of course I do, man.
Okay, well,
I'm a historian.
When we first got there from Korea, my wife and I lived in one of the rooms there for 3 months. We used to go. We used to go downstairs in the basement, and they had a big table. They had these long table set where you get crabs and beer, and that's all. And they would have these big paper rolls at the end, and they would roll them across the top. And it was $5, right? And they would give you a hammer and a bib, and they would cook these crabs that they brought up every day from down in Baltimore.
Chesapeake Bay,
yeah. And then they throw them out. You pay $5. They throw them on the table, and you'd have a hammer and a bib and a mug of beer, and you sit there and eat all the fucking crab legs you wanted for $5. I'll never forget that. Yeah, the Anthony Wayne Hotel right downtown Waynesboro. My daughter was born at the hospital in Waynesboro.
Yeah, so was my wife.
Wow. Well,
that's why I'm still here. The Army brought me here. Tammy kept me here.
I come up here a few years ago. I went through Fort Ritchie, and it's weird to see that it's no longer there. It's a big open, like it looked like they were trying to build like a subdivision or something in there.
Well, so
the housing project.
Yeah, so they so the armory and the munitions prevented the houses from getting built. It was supposed to be a business park after that, and they gave it to the state of Maryland. In their infinite wisdom, it still sits relatively idle.
Yeah,
but I was up there a couple of years ago. Well, my daughter and her husband live up in Blue Ridge Summit, so I was up there and rolled over there on the bike and took some pictures in front of the old headquarters building. And anyway, it just brought back some fun memories. But yeah, so I moved here 86, met Tammy right about the time I was getting out, and we got married, and we've been married since 88. So yeah. When you guys, one of the things I did want to talk about is, and I see this asked about all the time, it's the wonderful sound system that comes on the K1600. Going back to the Germans, why do you want to listen to music when you ride? What's wrong with you? Dummkopf, right? It isn't a good sound system. The 1600 makes its own music, granted, but for some of us, we like to listen to maybe a podcast or some good tunes. Yeah. And you had
words for you, man. Cena 20. That's it.
Yeah. I same. I'm a huge fan of the Center products.
One thing I would tell you is when you turn off the radio, you can get the speedo to show up.
Yeah.
The right setting. And so I'll take the Speedo over the radio. Have you seen the video, by the way, where I almost went off the road? I'll take the Speedo over the video anytime.
Yeah. Well, Kim does it. He has a killer video out there of this, I would say, relatively extensive Bluetooth upgrade that you posted to the video a while back.
Actually, two. It's two videos. It's a part 1 and part 2. Yeah, and that all stemmed from my 1200 because my R1200 sounded exactly the same. It had the same. My R1200 was outfitted with all the same everything except for the adaptive headlight that my K1600 had, and I hated the audio quality of that Bluetooth sound. It always sounded just tinny and didn't have any depth to it. And so when I got the 1600, it was exactly the same. And one of the things I really missed was having the ability to use the Wonder Wheel. That's what kind of got me started on all of it. Was like, why can't I turn this damn knob and have it to change the volume in my ear? You know, and so that's why I came out with that I put that upgrade together. You know that Motocello actually has a link to my video on their website. And that's how they sell their Motocello audio bridge. They actually have the link right there. If you need to install this, check out this video. And I think I've gotten like 14,000 or 18,000 views on it. It's been.
Did you get a new free Motocello upgrade?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you should.
You didn't monetize that video.
You should talk to a guy that got.
Yeah, you know, to monetize a video, you got to have like 100,000 views, and you got to have like 40,000 subscribers, or something just incredible. So
that's just for the video piece. That's YouTube paying you. I'm talking about those guys that you've sponsored and driven a bunch of customers to.
Oh, sure.
If you had a good buddy that had 2 degrees in business from Wharton, something like that, just as an example, you should be able to help a guy out. You know what I mean? If you know anybody.
Hey, by the way, just to take a moment, Chris, while you all were talking, I went and looked at your site, ridehistory.com. I am blown away. Wow, what a great site. I think I'm signing up for a tour, brother. Now, is that with your tours, do you supply the bike, or I can bring my own bike?
Bring your own bike.
Now, only you can bring your own bike, or you never supply the bike?
BYOB for now.
Well, it depends on where we are. I have a white label agreement where you can exit my site to go select a rental from a very well-known, very popular, very broad global motorcycle rental place.
What did you hear, Chris?
Is that it right there?
I got to tell you, that site is really awesome.
There you go, Chris, right there.
Format. I love the format. I love how you've given different pricing options. I do think we should talk about getting you a supply of bikes. But in any case, Chris, I'm blown away. I want to sign up for a tour. That just looks awesome. Ridehistory.com, folks.
There you go, right there.
Take a look. It's right beautiful. I'm really blown away. Chris, great job.
Thanks, man.
No.
It's a lot of fun, and it's something that, you know, kind of Kim touched on earlier. I want to get this thing rolling to the point where when I retire, it's ready for me to do full time.
Yeah, and I've actually been to Gettysburg several times. I mean, when I lived up in that area, we used to go to Gettysburg. I mean, it's really
guys,
close,
it's about replication. If you want to take a listen, how did Papa John's turn from a little pizza place into a national brand? They built a format franchise. Ding ding, that's what I do. But I don't know all the particulars, right?
I have the business plan.
Yeah, that's what you guys do.
To include a non-brick and mortar method for doing this as well. So, yep, I've got this all laid out. But anyway, so
hey, by the way, just one more time, ridehistory.com, folks. Look, because I'm signing up for a tour
right there,
with the rush of 3,000 K1600 members. You don't know how many spaces might be available.
That's right.
Your tour today.
I'm telling you, the music tour is
it's a lot of fun.
8 days. It's 8 days of going and riding and seeing some
folk music, country music, blues. We get into some rockabilly. We get into some Cajun. We stop at Vicksburg and I talk about, just a little piece on some Civil War history because we're there. It's close.
Chris, I just want to verify something. You keep your clothes on through this whole tour. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, that's why the prices are so low.
I don't.
There's no point where you're going to show up in a Speedo with like a ukulele, right? That's not happening.
Banana hammock.
Oh, that only when we go through the Appalachians.
All right.
Vision I can't get out of my head now.
Might have keep boy.
Some brain bleach. Uh-huh.
squeal like a piggy. Squeal.
Squeal boy. Oh, we don't ride there on a tour. It's too, you got to stay, you got to pay attention to yourself. James and I had a great moto camping trip to the the New River Gorge Bridge,
River Gorge, yeah.
Oh yeah,
West Virginia.
yeah.
Man,
where they-
I'm
where
telling
they
you,
do the hand gliding off of it, or the
West
the bungee?
Virginia is one of the best kept secrets on the planet when it comes to outstanding riding, super friendly people, phenomenal places to stop and eat. It is a jewel. And I am just blessed that I live that close.
Look at all
Yeah.
this talent we got. I mean, this is talent. I think what you failed to recognize, maybe, Christopher, is understanding where those places are. That's a talent. Like back in the day, if we go back, in Lewis and Clark days in the early 1800s, when they're trying to discover America, this was the Indian guide that knew every river and every stream. You're like the Indian guide of the modern times.
Yeah, just call me Sacagawea.
I call you a sack of shit.
I've
but,
been
you
to
know.
her birthplace. I've been to her birthplace, by the way.
Of course you have. Yes.
I have. So
yeah, of course. I'm not doubting it.
Sam in Idaho, I've got a picture of me standing right by the big monument they have to
I was just at Meriwether Lewis's log cabin a couple weeks ago when we were on the Natchez Trace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We stopped there at the Natchez Trace when we were down there. But yeah, so I love all facets of American history. And so James, we got to talking about the music tour, and I love music. And I thought, you know what would be phenomenal? Let's hook it up. So James organized the tour for the music tour. We also have a tour that's based on Revolutionary War history. There's a great story on there about this young guy that told Washington, "I'll go drag those cannons 300 miles to Boston in December," and he did it. And so we have a tour based on that. We stop at the Springfield Armory and
You
talk
go to
about.
Williamsburg and all that, or
We don't do Williamsburg too much right now. I'm really focused on trying to put something together. Have you ever seen the Amazon Prime show Echoes in the Canyon, about the music scene out in San Francisco and kind of the
No.
West Coast, LA, the whole West Coast basically music scene? But
Yeah, so we're trying to put a music tour out there, basically doing the whole Pacific Highway once they get that thing fixed. But
supposed to
just
be
talking
late
about,
summer.
yeah, from LA up to Seattle, and
yeah,
you
I'd love to
have,
ride that. That's one of my rides I want to do next year when I retire.
I mean, the
James and I
music
did
that
a-
came
Coast
out of
Highway.
there is just incredible. I mean,
It
look at
is. If
from
you ever get a
60s,
chance to
70s,
watch that,
80s, 90s.
watch that video of Echoes in the Canyon, and then obviously with the grunge and stuff out of Seattle. And so anyway, we did a Central Coast tour. One of the rides we organized for work, we do for our global sales meeting. We go out, we hang out for a few days, and that way we can look forward to the ride after the global sales meeting's over. And not that they're not scintillating.
They are
If
awesome.
anybody from Worldwide Technology is listening, they're incredible events. I'm so jacked when I leave those global sales meetings. It's like the best. And then we get to go ride motorcycles.
So
And
now, when you're riding motorcycles, are you renting them or are you actually taking them out? You're taking your own.
on those particular trips, we do fly and rent.
Okay, because that's kind of what Andrew and I are looking at as a fly
Yeah.
and rent package.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
Or
some
was
great
there-
rental places out there. They take care of you. It's great to fly and rent.
We've
I-
done all kinds of cool rides. In fact, we talked about it on one of the episodes of the podcast. James and I had more miles together on bikes that were not our own bikes than we had riding together on our own bikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Until recently. So we've done some trips lately that's starting to rack up some miles on our own bikes together. But both of us have ridden coast to coast several times on our own bikes. But when you do a fly and rent, you're there for work. It's like, why not hang out for a few days and see some sights on two wheels? I mean, it just made total sense to us. We started organizing these things, and we get 6, 8, 10 guys, and they love that. All they have to do is show up, and no more than 10, right? Because nobody wants to take their shoes off to get to number 11.
No, we got 10 minutes left on this.
Yeah. So anyway, we were sitting around Central Coast. Somebody said, "Man, this is so much fun to be able to just show up and relax." And you guys tell us when to get the bikes, where to get the bikes. You have the hotels, you have the restaurants, and it's so much fun to just show up and ride. I don't have to think about any of that hassle. he goes, you should look into doing this for people because you guys are good at it. And so there's ridehistory.com. And that's kind of what birthed that idea. And when I get done selling IT, uh,
Yeah.
I want to do that full time. And
Hey, Christopher, if you're in sales, have you ever read The Challenger Sale? Have you ever read that
that
book?
book's on my desk. Yeah,
Yeah, that's like the greatest sales Bible I've ever known in my
it's a
life.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
We have
I'm
all.
gonna just to take a quick side trip. Something that you guys and the listeners listening in, if you want to watch it, I watched a documentary just recently called Hillbilly, and it deals with this woman that she grew up in West Virginia. You know, got out of there as quickly as she could, which was right after college. Ended up going to California, but didn't really care for how people sort of think about West Virginia. The whole, you know, went back and tried to see, especially, you know, during the last administration, what the people are like, the just the temperature of the population. But she actually hunted down the kid that was playing the banjo, and he puts away carts at a Walmart in a little town in West Virginia. And I just found it amazing that she found that person that is sort of that is the iconic figure that you think of when somebody says West Virginia. That that kid, you know, playing the
In the
banjo
movie Deliverance
in the movie Deliverance.
on the
Yep,
porch.
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I see where we're going now.
So it was interesting that she found him. So sorry, wanted to throw that out there,
You
but it
know,
was an
I
actually
know
really,
that. I know that.
it was a good
Squirrel,
doc.
squirrel.
Well,
Andrew and I had we went when we were riding in. I think it was we had just left Memphis and we were on our way up to St. Louis, and I hit the detour button on my GPS, and we really ended up on some little 2-lane, almost dirt road. We're riding through, and I'm telling everybody, I'm like, dude, do I hear banjo music? And we're looking over, and I mean, it's like something right out of Deliverance, man. We're out in the middle of nowhere on these K1600s on these tiny little roads, going, where in the hell are we? And the roads kept getting smaller and smaller.
That's
And then
why
we'd
I
have
want to
these
get an
hills that
ADV
would go
bike.
straight up on us. Like, you remember that, Andrew? Out in the middle of nowhere out there.
that's when we lost Jim for a minute there. We couldn't find him. We thought he got hurt. So I remember that clearly. You know, my comment about it, it's funny that one of the businesses I own is in higher education, and that's the only way out. You know, for these folks, education is it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. I mean, I really have to tell you that I work a lot with college kids and a lot with college students and colleges to make sure that their programs are efficacious. But it's such a sad story when people don't have access, whether it's in West Virginia or downtown Baltimore or wherever it is. Access to education is the only way to crawl out of poverty, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, and it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm in an MBA program right now. My wife just started a master's program.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's funny. We're sitting here, and my daughter is 17 years old, and all three of us are in school.
Yeah. And same, I'm out of school now, but my son and I were in college at the same time. It was crazy. But you know, I didn't really pay attention when I was younger. I'm telling you from experience. I actually don't have a bachelor's degree, but I have 2 master's degrees. So I got an honorary bachelor's because of some stuff I did for the military, and so then now I was granted access to Wharton, and now I have, I guess, would be considered a double MBA or a PhD. But it's funny that you can just miss that one step in your education as a kid, and it can cripple them for life. And you know, I was just not a very fortunate child, if you want to know the truth. You know, I didn't come from a silver spoon. I came from a broken plastic spoon that was picked up off the ground and a little bit dirty, but mom dressed it off on her skirt.
Yeah, I had a spork. I came from a spork.
Yeah. So you know, I don't regret the past, but what I try to do is help others. And so anybody with that might listen to this and might take offense to anything anybody said about West Virginia, my answer to you is find a way to seek more education, whether it's a trade, whether it's a college or a high school, whatever.
Trades are a great way
Trades.
for kids that can't afford college to get a good education. I mean, plumbers and electricians make they make $100,000 a year. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's very honorable to be a
I mean,
carpenter
nothing
or
wrong with it.
And
paint
Hey,
tile or
look,
whatever.
man,
On a Saturday, and you need a plumber, you're about ready to pay anything.
you'll
I'm
pay
ready.
anything. That's
I
right.
will say this. I'm going to go back to my statement earlier about how much I love West Virginia, the people, the roads, the food.
Some of the best riding I've ever had.
It is, and I tell
Oh
you,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
when it comes to driving the economy in those little towns, it's guys like us that espouse those kinds of routes and rides and places to eat. That helps, makes a little difference. I would also say that I'm a huge fan of education. My grandfather said, "When you're too old to learn, just go dig your hole." And so you should take advantage of every educational opportunity. And every day that you learn something, he would say, every day you learn something's a profitable day. So,
Yeah,
um,
and
yeah.
also, I mean, I don't have an undergraduate, but yet through the stuff that I've done in my past, I was brought into an MBA program, which I'm very thankful for. But I have a trade skill. I have IT certifications for days. There's so many things that kids don't have to go to college. You can go to a trade school and do very, very well for yourself.
I went to a really good trade school when I was younger. They
Yeah,
call it Army. I don't know
I
if
went to
you've
the
heard of
U.S.
it.
Army.
Fantastic
Went
trade
to the
school.
Navy.
That
I
one
know
myself.
I
Navy.
went to that grade school.
Yeah,
So,
I was-
the other thing I will tell you too, James, and I talk about this all the time with people. It's like, look, there's nothing that says you can't get one of those industry certifications and get a great job and work for a company that pays for you to go to college. So,
what I'm doing now.
why take on all that student debt?
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Hey, listen, and we can bring it even back to motorcycling, because education is the same with motorcycling. If somebody is feeling like you're weak on your skills, let me tell you, as someone who's ridden for 30 years, and it's just about, you saw the video where I almost went off the cliff, literally. And that's after 30 years of riding. It's just about practice and that kind of stuff in education. Anyway, guys, I didn't want to take us too far off track, because I know you guys have.
No, that's great. That's what this is all about.
No, it's all.
Tell
Look,
you, you're some wonderful bunch of guys, and if there's a way I can help you or sponsor you, please let me know.
yeah,
This
absolutely.
is
And
yeah. Go
honestly,
ahead.
no, I was just going to say, this is the thing that I love about this. You're experiencing why we call it Fuel Stop Chats.
Exactly.
The topics of conversation on a motorcycle ride when you stopped for fuel are as diverse as we've been tonight. And you know what? Why not? And when it comes to education, it facilitates the toys that give us the pleasures that we have. So if you want to sit in a garage with a 69 Camaro and a GT and or have two or three bikes over in your garage, there are ways to do that. And I will tell you that I'm happy to mentor anyone through that process,
Yes.
whether that's a military career or otherwise. But we have 1 minute left, guys. I just want to say how much it's just been a blast. No kidding.
It really has. Yeah.
A lot
Thanks
of
for
fun.
inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Really looking forward to the ride to meet in Teleco Plains. For everybody listening, I do own other bikes besides BMWs. I'm a lover of anything on 2 and 3.
Yes.
I'm a lover on anything that's petroleum powered, and now I'm becoming a fan of EV
Even
bikes.
battery. Yep.
Let's just ride. Let's just have a good time. We usually sign this thing off from the old military days. James and I have kind of picked up a habit of saying, "Ride her out."
So
Ride her out.
ride her out.
Gentlemen,
Fire
grab.
out.
Thank you,
Thanks,
gentlemen.
guys.
We'll do this again.
All right. Yeah, you bet.
Ride her out.
Ride her out.
See you, Andrew.
Take care, Kim.